Hello and welcome to Let's Learn C++ lesson 2.3. Today I'm going to teach you about the last type of loop that we're going to learn, and it's called the for loop. It is the most difficult type of loop to understand. It's not that hard, but out of the three types that we're learning, it is the most difficult to understand. But it really is not that hard once you just use it a lot and you figure out what exactly it's doing. So basically, you can see here we have this strange form here, and then we have a pause at the end and a return 0, just to simply demonstrate what's going on. So we have our for loop right here. That all you say is for, and then you put your parentheses, and inside your parentheses there are 3 segments. The first segment is going to be a variable. It's got to be a number variable. I guess it doesn't have to be, but normally people use an integer, and normally they call it I. I stands for integer, and it's just a temporary variable. So notice how it's declared in between the parentheses, which means that once the for loop is over, I will be destroyed, never to be heard of again. Which is why generally people use I in every single for loop, unless it's nested, because you can do that because this for loop doesn't know about the I that's in the for loop above it or below it or something. So generally we use I and we set it equal to 0 generally, but you can set it equal to whatever you want. And basically you're just creating a variable and it's going to be a starting value. So then the second section is a condition, and this for loop is going to continuously execute over and over until this condition is false. So as long as this condition is true, as long as I is less than 9, it'll keep executing this. And then this last section simply increments I. So as you see here, we're adding 1 to I every time. But you could do I plus equals 2 and increment it by 2. By the way, plus equals is a new operator I need to teach you. All it does is if you have I equals I plus 2, that's the same thing as I plus equals 2. So basically you're just combining these two parts of it into one variable. So instead of saying I is equal to itself plus 2, you're saying that variable plus equals 2. And it's going to automatically add 2 to it. And the same thing with minus equals. It'll subtract 2 with minus equals. So with our for loop, back to our for loop, we're just going to stick with I plus plus, increment it by 1. So you can see inside the for loop we have a cout statement that says this will display 10 times. And then we have another incrementer. So let's predict what's going to happen. The for loop itself increments it by 1. And then inside here we also have another incrementer. So that means every execution it's going to increment 2. Supposedly. Let's see what actually happens. See how many times this baby displays. One, two, three, four, 5. Well, that's because we have this extra incrementer. In the other 2 loops, we were incrementing I manually, but the for loop does it for us. So we can just completely take that line out, since it's inside the declaration of the for loop. So we can take that out and just have the cout statement. Now let's see how many times it displays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, where's that last thing? It says it's going to display 10 times. Where's the last one? Well, I starts out as 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when it gets to 9, it's no longer less than 9. So, to make it display 10 times, we need to say less than equal to 9. So now our for loop is going to keep going until it's greater than 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it does indeed display 10 times. So this for loop works just like the other 2, except it automatically increments itself, and it has a variable built inside just for that purpose. Now, you can put iterators inside here, you can put integers, doubles, floats. I'm pretty sure you can put characters in here. In the condition, not most people, but a lot of people think that the condition has to contain the variable that was declared here. Well, technically, you could completely leave this blank and just have the semicolon there to move on to this. And you could say, as long as char1 equals y. And then you can take this out too, and you can have just that. But that would be pointless, because then you just have a while loop with a for in front of it. But you can do it if you want. You could totally do that. It's completely up to you, but I would just suggest using a while loop for that. But I'm just showing you the power of the for loop. Now, you could take this out, and suppose you like the I++ being in here so you can see it better. I don't know, that's completely up to you. I just prefer it to be up in here. It looks neater, and I suggest you keeping it there too. Now, let's see. Since we're doing for loops, let me go ahead and teach you a nested for loop. Now, a nested for loop. Oh, never mind. I'll teach you that whenever I teach you arrays and multidimensional arrays. So, that's all for this lesson. I highly recommend you playing around with for loops, just seeing how they work, and add them into your programs, use them. That is the only way you will ever get better at programming, is practice. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Thank you. Bye.